What's good, cuz? I see you, Brody. Yeah, this song I'm up for my boy Kid. The bass came from the Moog. Let me see. I did this like this crazy ass bubbly sound, right? With the Moog. And that's like the foundation of it, right? And then when the bass hits, bro, like I made this custom bass that it's just nasty, bro. Let me see. It's about to jump off right here. Bro. So let me bounce it real quick because I gotta, let's see. Yeah, but dog, I'm sending, you know what I'm saying? If you need some loops or something, let me know. Yeah, I would, I send you joints anyway, cause you family, literally. So, but yeah, definitely, dog. Let me know. Let me see what we're bouncing this to. What's the name of this record? Gossip Shack. Yeah, that's what I did that bass on, bro. I should have took a picture of it, and you could have made it. But like once you turn it off, bro, it's gone. If you move the knobs, it's a wrap. All right, we're gonna balance this out. While that's doing that, let's listen to something we got here. But yeah, facts, bro. I made this crazy joint right here.
You look so good, so goddamn fine. Wanna make you mine. Wanna give my night. Wanna give my time. Wanna give my night. Wanna give my time. But please don't be no crazy bitch. Yeah, please don't be no crazy bitch. Please don't be no crazy crazy. Yeah, please don't be no crazy bitch.
So now that that's done bouncing, way too much reverb. Hey, hey. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go in here. Is this done? What happened? Let's see. Let me copy that real quick. I probably should have took the master off of that, but it'll be alright. Let me see what we got. There we go. Alright, then I need to grab this and put this in here. And then, alright. Probably gonna have to put. So, one of the things I always do, bro, is I'll gain stage I'll gain stage the track before I even touch anything. So I'm gonna go up here and let's see how many decibels we need to bring this down by.
I guess y'all kinda got.
Oh wait, what happened here? Hold up. Oh, you know what? Okay, I messed up. What I could do, yeah, no, I'm gonna just. I didn't bounce it with the pitch down because I actually pitched this down. I think like 4 centimeters, and then, so I need to bounce it like that, which basically means I gotta bounce each track individually. So, I'll do this. Actually, yeah, I basically got a solo bounce, solo bounce, solo bounce. And to make this easier, I'm gonna do this. Bro, why can't I'm like all over the place in these folders? I need to clean up the folders. Alright. This is, I don't even know what that was. That's gotta be, I'm just gonna call it Phantom. Alright, so now we're definitely gonna have to play some music while this is going on. This is gonna take a little second. So let's see what we got in here. 2020.
Realize your power. Finding out myself. Finding out myself. Realize your power. Finding out power.
sure that bounced the way I wanted to before I bounce all the rest of these. I got so much shit I need to do. Alright, so now I'm just gonna go through here, solo these one at a time, balance them out. Alright, let's see what else we got in this folder. Some of these I don't even remember what they sound like, bro. I know you probably deal with the same thing. This is from the Moog too. Yo, matter of fact, let me see. I did one with the Moog where it was like, I used mainly just the Moog, and it's like, I know what it's called. Here it is. And I did like a lot of, I just like mapped it real crazy, and then I was using the modulation just to like do wild shit. Hey, there he is. What's good, Flame? I know Flame been over there cooking up crazy heat too. What's good, brother? Nah, you good, bro. We just started. We just getting started. Showing some Moog beats, some beats that use the Moog while I'm bouncing these stems down real quick. Said it's too loud? I got you. Hold on, let me see. That's better or what? Let me know if that's better. This is more Moog, grandmother type stuff right here. Let's see, what else did I do on the Moog? this right here. And Monster, I'll have to send you some of my like presets for the move, man. Just send you a picture of how I do it. I bet the beat was probably loud because I had the mic on. I'm gonna start dimming the monitors when I go on the mic. I got you. Alright, while this is all bouncing down, I'm gonna start getting warmed up on the keys. Let me see what we got. He said, "What now? Let me see." You say did you say you sent some beats? If you sent it, let me know. I'll play it. Let me see. Man, this is the only thing about. Yeah, I appreciate you, brother. This is the only thing about detuning beats. Like, so if you notice up here, this beat is detuned. And so whenever you do that, in Logic at least, you have to bounce everything out separately. I mean, you could bounce it all as one, but if you want to work with the stems not detuned in real time, then you got to bounce it like this. So bear with me, and we're just going to keep warming up. And then if y'all got something y'all want me to play, send it through. I'll play it. All right, so let's talk about chord progressions for a minute. There's a trick to like taking a boring chord progression and making it more interesting, right? And the easiest way to do that, I think, is to find one of the chords that should be a major or a minor and then just change it to the opposite. So for example, if you played a 1 5, like let's say you play a 1 5 4, and then choose one of those chords and flip it and see how it sounds, right? So that one I switched to 5 from a minor to a major. It's way more interesting than this. Here's the change. Like that one move adds so much more tension to the progression. And you could pick and choose and see where it sounds the best. So like I'm gonna try it on the 4 this time. See how it changes it? Like that time, and like if you think about what's happening, basically you're changing the whole mood for just that tiny part of the progression, right? So that just that one note is changing. And let me see if I can get piano. Oh, this is bouncing down. But yeah, no problem, bro. But think about it like that. Like that one note, bro, is changing. That one section is changing the tension by a lot, right? So if you've got a minor progression, the minor 1, 5, and 4, they're gonna all be minor, right? So that's a sad progression, no matter how you play it. But if you make that last note of that last chord major, then it adds hope at the end of it, right? So, like, you can use it. It's powerful, bro. Or like if you do the first chord major, let's see what that sounds like. So that doesn't work, or it doesn't resolve as well on the last part. So what I would do is change the first to a major, this, yeah, and then what did I say, a 1 5 4, then the 4 to a major. So yeah, it's pretty interesting the way that works, but in theory, you're switching a happy or a sad chord for the opposite. And if you wanted to take it further and you wanted to add even more tension, and at this point, what I would call suspense, you would change one of those to a diminished chord. And a diminished chord, you're basically flattening the 3rd and the 5, the 3 and the 5. So wherever, if you play a major chord and you just move the 2 highest notes of those 3 notes down 2, or sorry, down 1 each. So it would sound like this. This is a C sharp major, a C sharp diminished would sound like this. Right? So if you can sneak this in there somewhere, then you're, you know what I mean? You can really build some suspense. So let's see. If we do that same progression from earlier, C sharp minor, G sharp minor, and then it should be an F sharp minor, but it's gonna be a F diminished, F sharp diminished. But you gotta be clever how you use a diminished chord, because diminished chords are like really diminished. They have a lot of tension in them, right? So you would normally sneak it in somewhere like this. So I added it as a completely different, like its own chord, and it's only there to like get you back to what we had before. So what we had before was. And then watch how I throw it in there. You know what I mean? And then it goes back. And so if you can figure out how to sneak a diminished chord in your progression, then like you can really add a lot of suspense to the progression, which anytime you can do that makes it less boring, right? Like if you're watching a movie and it's like the movie doesn't have any suspense, it doesn't, you know what I mean? It doesn't have any like tense moments, then it's probably not that great of a movie. So you want to try and pick and choose like where you put that to, because if you put it in the wrong place, it's gonna sound really bad. Just those three progressions I did: minor, minor, diminished, minor, major, minor, diminished, and then I think I did major, 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 diminished. So if you got all majors, then diminished probably you don't want to use it, right? Because you got a happy sounding thing going on. Nah, not really, bro. Like I never took piano class in my life, man. So if I can do it, you can do it. Trust me. You just gotta practice, man. And there's like a couple of things you can do to get better. Like if you practice the actual shapes that you're playing, like and figure out like, okay, a major shape kind of feels like this, a minor shape feels like that. And then it really helps to like just look at the keyboard. Like I've spent hours just looking at it, right? Like a painting or something, and trying to figure out why they put the notes where they put them. You know what I'm saying? And it's all math. Like if you look at how, when you start to break it down, like it's all mathematics, and the space doesn't change. So if a fifth apart is a fifth apart, it's always a fifth apart. The only time it feels different, I would say, is when you're playing a B in an F sharp or a B flat in an F. But other than that, the shape doesn't change, right? Like, let me see. Let's see how we're gonna do this. All right, so if you can see my hand, the shape of your hand doesn't change when you're playing a fifth apart. So, and when I say a fifth apart, I don't mean just 5 keys. I mean the fifth of the scale, right? So if you're playing a C sharp, the fifth is a G sharp. If you're playing a B, the fifth is an F. You know what I mean? So the shape or the distance never changes. So if you can figure out a fifth apart, the 1 and the 5 of the scale, right? Whatever scale you're in, those are the two most important notes in the scale. And the distance of that never changes no matter what scale you're in. And so when you're playing something, you can really just like you could really play all fifths if you wanted to, but then the articulation and what makes it a major or a minor or a diminished and all this other stuff just depends on what you add to it. So a fifth apart with a major third is a major whatever the root is, right? So a C major here, let me pull up a piano. Let's see. And hopefully this works while I'm bouncing stuff down. But let's see if you can see this. All right, so see how this is a fifth apart. Now there's more than 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's actually 7 notes in between a fifth. But if you look at a C major scale, that's the fifth note. If you look at a C sharp major scale, that's the fifth note. And if you notice, that distance never changes. It's always the same. It's always the same. It's always the same distance apart. It's hard to play it looking at this key at the screen, but you see how that distance never changes? And so if you can just figure out how far your fingers are apart from each other when you play that with your thumb and your pinky, then memorize how that feels, right? A lot of this is just muscle memory. And so you should be able to eventually do it without looking. And the only time it gets weird is when you get to B, right? So right here is the only time where your fingers really do something different, because one of them has to play a black key and one of them has to play a white key. When you go to the B, it does it again, right? One finger's playing a white key, one finger's playing a black key. But other than that, every other time it's gonna match. It's gonna be a white key and a white key, a black key and a black key. You know what I'm saying? And this shape will always be the same. The distance will never change. The only time it's weird is right here, right? When you're playing a B, and when you're playing a B flat. So if you can figure that out, you're halfway there, and I'll show you why. That's all just playing the fifths and the same note in the root or in the bass. So if you know, that's all a fifth apart. This whole thing I just played. And so you can do a lot with that, but then more importantly, it starts to build that muscle memory to where you can always, once you figure out the fifth, everything in between of your melody is based around those two notes, because those are always going to be the most powerful in any chord system, right? Like in Western music, I should say, the first note and the fifth note of the scale are always the most powerful. Everything else is just trying to get back to one of these. You know, like this wants to go here. If you play that wants to go there, right? It just naturally wants to. Every other note in the scale is trying to get back home, right? To the root. And that's why they call this the root key, because every other chord is trying to get back here. But the fifth is so powerful that a lot of chords want to go back to the fifth as well if they're close. Right? And so when you're building a chord progression, knowing where you're going to use the first and the fifth can determine the whole structure of everything else, right? If I know I'm going to play if I want to start with the fifth note or the fifth chord in C sharp minor, then I know eventually I got to get back to the one, right? Now, the one and the five naturally want to gravitate to each other the most. So in order to get away from that, I might not start with the root or the fifth. I might start with the sixth note of the scale and then go 6, 5, 1. And if I do it without inverting this chord and playing it regular, see how they just want to all go home, right? So if you use the one at the end of your chord progression, it's usually going to sound good, right? Because all the notes want to travel back home. So now, a lot of times I'll put the one in the third position. Like if there's 4 chords in the scale, I'll put the one in the third position. That way the listener doesn't easily know what chord or what scale we're in, right? So I'll do something like that same thing. Instead of that being the last chord I play, I'll add something like, you know, that diminished that we talked about earlier, just to add some tension. Or I might do this, which is really just a G sharp minor, but I'm playing it a little bit better than this diminished chord because this note is naturally in the scale. So yeah, if you can, like I said, man, look at it and realize that a lot of people get intimidated because they look at the whole keyboard. You really only need to look at this much. You know what I mean? To like really kind of understand the pattern. If you look at too much of it, it starts to become intimidating. But if you look at just a few octaves, right? So this would be 2 octaves. Then you can kind of see like, let's see where we at here. You know what I mean? Now you can really see that once you get right there, everything else just starts over. It's the same thing. Nothing changes, right? So, like I said, if I can play the keys, you can play the keys too. It's really that simple. You just gotta practice. that would be my other thing that I would say. Sometimes you got to just sit down and practice the keys if you want to get better at them, and not worry about making a beat. Like if you're only playing keys to make a beat, then you're only gonna be as good as you. Then naturally your beats will just get better because you'll be better at playing keys, if that makes sense. Let me check. Let me see if I got it. Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't let me download them. Let me try. I mean, why it doesn't let me just play it in this thing, bro? Let me see. All right, let's see here. No, I said I'm a down. Like I don't know why it wouldn't let me just play them in the browser, but I got them. I'm gonna play them in just a second. Let me start this next bounce, cause I'm almost done with this. Now. Let me see. Well, almost done bouncing this down. All right. You said play Ring Ring first, and then Outer Space. All right. Giving me the playlist. All right, hold up. I got you. Let me see. Let's see, Ring Ring, then Outer Space. This year for okay, word. I like the chord progression. I feel like the 808 might be out of key. I feel like it's A. But no, it's D. Yeah, I would say on this one, bro, just go in there and make sure that you played it in the same key. Now, here's the thing. You got to figure out what key the 808 was sampled in, though. So what I mean by that is if the 808 was sampled in the key of G and you're playing it and you're playing the D key is actually playing a G, right? And you have to detune to compensate for that. And that's one of the reasons why I don't really use a lot of sampled 808s. Because with sampled 808s, unless they're key tagged and tell you what key it's in, you either have to figure out what key it's in, and is that 5 minutes away? Oh, you gotta help you. Okay, word. Nah, take your time, bro. But yeah, but like I said, man, if you watch this later, just like I said, check to see if the key is in the file of the beat of the 808, and then you have to detune it to compensate. Otherwise, you're playing one key, but it's actually playing a completely different key because it's playing whatever it was sampled in. And I'll show you what I mean next time. You know what I mean? Whenever you pull up, bro. Yeah, let me know if you. I'm not sure if you mean you coming back in 5 minutes, but I'll play the other joints. Just let me know. Let me see what we got here. Damn, it's taking this long to balance this many files. Yeah, man. If you got like mixed in key or like any type of software that can tell you what key your 808 is in, then use it. Cause that I feel like that's a pitfall that a lot of people make is they don't realize that most 808s aren't sampled in the key of C, or else they wouldn't sound good when you first hear them, right? They sample, they play them in whatever key it was they were using, making a beat in, and then just save the wave. But the wave is what could be whatever key it wants to be, right? Let me see. Did I even use this? Yep. All right. Two more five. I could actually bounce this down as one. No. Do it the right way. Yeah, man. If you Monster, if you got like Massive or Serum or anything else like that, then you can make an 808. You know what I mean? I made a couple of them, and I've honestly been using. Yeah, that's true. Now, do you know the trick to get the sine wave on the Moog? Tell me that much. Do you know the trick to get the sine wave? Cause if not, I'm gonna have to show you. Cause that's when you can really get crazy with the bass lines, and it gives you a third oscillator to work with. Cause it uses the noise patch. So you basically route the LFO. Now here's the only thing about it: you lose your LFO, but you get a sine wave, and you get three oscillators instead of just the two. Oh man! All right, I'm about to blow your mind, bro. It's dog. I'm gonna show you right now. Let me finish bouncing this, and then I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that. Cause if you want to make some crazy bass, dog, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you something. Let me just bounce this first. When I figured this out, bro, this shit had blew my mind. Cause that was the main drawback for me on the grandmother was it didn't have a natural sine wave, but it got a sine wave on the LFO and it's got a noise patch. So you just, you know what I mean? You know what I mean. I'm about to show you. Got one more track to bounce, and this one doesn't have to be the whole thing. Dang. Man, I feel like that took longer than it should have. Alright. Let's see. Alright. Alright, so here we go. Let's see, Moog. I'm surprised it's not already muted. Nah, shit. Anytime you start up like that, it means you was doing some crazy shit the last time you mess with it. Alright. This is how we're gonna do this. Let me think. Yeah. I got an idea. Alright, I don't know how this is gonna look, but let's try this. Alright, here we go. Alright, so Moog. How to get the secret sine wave. Alright, I'm gonna have to let me see. I'm gonna have to plug a longer mic cable in. And then this is what we're gonna do. Hang on, give me a second, let me figure this out, and then I'm gonna figure out a way to show you how we're gonna do this. So we'll put this right here for right now. We've never done this before on the Twitch, so bear with me. Let me see here. Can we let's see. Okay, let's take this and let's what am I wait. That's the wrong thing. Yeah. But once I get this set up, we'll be able to do this whenever. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Alright, so now the Moog trick. Alright, so here's what you gotta do. You gotta let me think how to explain this in some steps that will be easier than the first time I tried to figure this out. Basically, what you have to do is you have to route your Moog into, route your Moog in here into, you're using Ableton, right? So I'm sure you got a utility. Mine is in metering. There's just like a basic tuner, right? And what you got to do is you got to turn on input monitoring so that it knows. Okay, and so now we can see what key we're getting from the Moog, right? And I do this too to tune it because the Moog, being a real instrument, if you don't tune it, then it, it's like it's not gonna sound right. Now let's see, we're not on the right input. We need mono. Oh, this is the motif channel. That's why. Hang on. All right. Input, I believe, is 8. Okay. So we'll grab our tuner. We're gonna put the tuner on the Moog. Let me switch cables. This one I think is a little bit longer. All right. So here's the thing. You have to use your noise patch, your noise filter. Let me see if I can get the lights better. All right. So we're gonna get rid of all this. Because there's no telling what I was doing last time we were here. Let me see, do I have something I can, oh, you know what? Give me one more second. This is about to be legendary. Man, look at this. Bro, we are set the fuck up now. Look at this. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use first and foremost. Let's get everything zeroed out because, like I said, I don't know what I was doing last time I was messing with this, but probably something crazy. Cause that's what this is for. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna first patch cable, right? It's gonna go from keyboard out. So keyboard out, which is the left one, not keyboard velocity out, just regular keyboard out. To rate in, or is it sync in? I think it's sync in. Let me map it first before I start trying to tell you how to do it. And then once I do, I'll share. It's rate in. Okay, so first step is you're gonna go keyboard out from your arpeggiator to rate in on your modulation. So keyboard out to rate in, and then you're gonna go wave out of the modulator to noise in on the mixer, all right? And what that's gonna do is that's gonna turn your noise, right? It's gonna turn your noise into whatever waveform you have set on your LFO. So, if you wanted a triangle wave, square wave, let me. But for bass, we're probably looking for this sine wave that we're missing from the regular LFO, from the regular oscillators. Because there's no sine wave here, but there's a sine wave here. So, now the only problem with this is, and it's a good problem to have, is that now your LFO is the pitch, right? So if I just turn this on to drone and I turn my LFO rate, you see what happens? So now what you have to do, and this is really the challenging part, right, of this thing, is that you have to tune your LFO sine wave into key. And so the way we do that is we're gonna turn up oscillator 1, right? Oscillator 1 on a triangle, probably at 16, right? And we'll give this a little bit of juice. So now what I normally do is I come in here, I pull up this tuner, and we can see that the Moog is out of tune on its own right now. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna tune it. I'm gonna tune the Moog, right? So I'm gonna hit a C, come back here, and I'm gonna tune it. Just like you would a guitar. This is an analog instrument, so if you're not tuning it when you're using it, a lot of times you're gonna be playing shit that's out of key. And normally before I tune this, I would turn it on and wait like 15 minutes or so. Cause you see how now it's 1 cent higher than 0 when I just set it to 0. So this thing is still warming up. So if you just turn it on and start playing, 15, 20 minutes later, everything you're playing is gonna sound different than when you first turned it on. So now that it's, holding steady, I'm gonna try and get that 1 cent difference out of there. Boom. So now we're back at 0 cents. So now we have to tune our LFO, right? So to do that, we're gonna use the oscillator 1 middle C as a reference while we turn up the noise knob, right? Because the noise, watch, the noise is out of pitch. If I turn down oscillator 1, we hear that it's an octave higher, or maybe 2 or 3, and it's out of tune, right? But if I turn that LFO knob, LFO rate, it pitches it. So now the trick is to see where, let me move this mic cable out the way. And you're basically trying to get it in the same octave range first. Okay, so now we'll turn down oscillator 1. We see it's a little sharp. You gotta hold down this hold button. That's your shift button. So when you hold that down and you move your LFO rate, it moves it as a much smaller rate. So I'm gonna hold that button down, and then I'm gonna grab that knob and I'm gonna tune it down to C. Gotta just barely touch it. So now our noise generator, which is set to a sine wave, is in the same key. are close enough, right? It's never gonna be perfect, right? But now you have a solid sine wave. So now I'm just gonna show you some potential bass that you could do with this, right? I'm not even gonna, normally I would come in here and I would, run this through like an SSL and, whatever else. I'm not even gonna do that for the purposes of this demo, but I wanna show you now that you have that sine wave. Now you good, Flame? That you didn't have before, right? Because these oscillators don't come with a sine wave. So now you've unlocked a hidden oscillator on this thing. Now you can do some crazy bass. Let me show you what I mean. And now, if I bring in oscillator 2, I can use my sync frequency, right? So watch this. And you can see like how quick the bass can just get out of hand, bro. And you can combine the, oscillator 1 too, if you want it. Now the thing is, you want to be careful that you're not phasing things out. So you got to be smart with your choices. Now, for something like this, I'd probably run, some additional parallels. Like I would probably, let's see what I might do. I might use the envelope out to adjust the cutoff. But I would run it through the attenuator first. And then I would run it to the cutoff end. And then you gotta be careful too, bro, because this is all analog, so you will blow a speaker if you are not careful. So now, I got more control. Give it a shot, bro. Now, like I said, you'll lose your LFO because you're using your LFO as an oscillator at this point. But who cares, right? Like you got a sine wave, and if you wanted to, you got another triangle wave. You got another square wave. You know what I mean? So you're basically adding an additional oscillator to this, which I don't know if Moog knew. I'm sure they did, but yeah, now you could like just kind of dial in. The other dope part about um, having that sine wave now is that now you can do like a lot of the softer synth sounds, right? Like you can do some, let's see, give it some decay, a little bit of release. Now for something like this, I would probably run high pass. I would go output of the mixer to the attenuator into the high pass filter into the low pass filter, and then adjust the resonance. And now just gotta open it up. And now if you give it some reverb. Now, whenever I'm playing the Moog, if I'm using the spring reverb, I try not to touch the Moog. I'll play it on the Phantom and just have it route to the Moog. That way I don't get that spring. And with sounds like that, they work good when you bend them right. So. And for something like this, I would definitely come in here and I would run additional processing through this. Like I would probably run it through like a SSL, like I said. That's what I normally do. Or sometimes I'll use the Sentry tube too, that sounds good on it, but anything that's old and analog helps the Moog out. So I turn on this compressor. I would filter out some more of the low end. Yeah. Let me see what. Oh, because I got the software monitoring on still. Let me turn that off. You gotta, like, the routing too is super important with all this. So let me see. Let me try that again. Let me turn it down first, because you never know. Let's see. Where was I? Was that preamps? SSL channel strip. Alright. So yeah, like I said, I would filter out the low end, turn the compressor on, turn it up. He said, yeah, bro, like this right here, bro, you can do a lot with this if you know what it does, right? Like if you look at the way it's lined up, this is the signal chain. Like the signal chain goes like this. You know what I mean? And so once you figure out that, and then figure out what the different components of the signal chain do, then it's a lot easier to manage, right? Because like you know what each part is for. And when you know what each part is for, then you can say like, okay, I'm gonna use, just like I said, in the example I showed you with the sine wave that we're doing right now, we're using this modulator LFO as an oscillator because we know that this thing has a noise patch, right? Like this sound right here really sounds like this with one plug. You saw how I did that? I just unplugged one thing and this thing went back to a noise generator, right? Normally you would use that noise generator to make drums on this, like snares and hi-hats or whatever. But because we're telling the noise to come from an LFO and we're telling what pitch it is by the frequency of the LFO, we've just unlocked a whole new sound. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like they have like pictures online of different people's patches and stuff like that. But if you just go online and look at their pictures and plug shit in where they plugged it in and turn the knobs where they turned them, then you really don't know what's going on. Like you still don't know what's happening. But if you spend some time like plugging shit in, unplugging it, move this over here, you know what I'm saying, and kind of figuring out what does what, then you're a lot better off with it. You can do, you know what I mean? Like you saw the sine wave bass we just did. Like most people don't know that. So when you figure it out, then boom, like you just unlock some shit. You got, you know, so we got some firepower now. And like you could do like so much with that LFO too. Like you can modulate the cutoff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you just send the wave out of the LFO to the cutoff on the frequency, like you could change the way a sound sounds just like that. Like and for something like this, you would probably send it through the attenuator first. You know what I mean? So, like, bro, you could get wild, dog. Like, I have fun on the move, bro. Like, I have a lot of fun on that joke. I will just sit there, bro. I've been known to sit there for like a long time It just, uh, yeah, I'm definitely getting that. You already know. I got a keyboard and a mouse for Warzone on the PS5 now too, bro. I'm getting serious about these games again, man. Definitely getting that Battlefield. Get stupid on that joint, bro. Like, that's the thing. Like, a lot of, you gotta have fun with that, bro. Like, this is a thing you gotta have fun, but don't blow your speakers out. That's the main thing with this. Is like, yo, have a good time, but don't blow your speakers out. But yeah, you could. There's a like, and I'm doing all that with no plug, with nothing plugged in. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's already so much you could do with it just by like, if you know these two knobs control the octave, right, of the oscillator. You know what I mean? This controls how those two oscillators are linked together in frequency. If you have this button turned off, you're crazy. You know what I mean? And then this is the waveform of those two oscillators, right? You got like some triangle waves, some saw waves, and some, whatever. This is your mixer and your noise and your patch, and it's got a patch bay, right? This is whatever, like high filter, attenuator, and this is your cutoff. Other than that, bro, like, you could do so much with it. And so I'm playing the Moog with the Phantom. Like usually if I'm playing something on the Moog, and depending on what the piece is, right? Because these keys have a different weight than these keys. trick is to like go ahead and get something in there and then start sound design, right? See how, like, you know what I mean? Like, just that quick, you got your bass line, right? So I'm looking at, all right, I went down, what did I do? Let me see what I did originally. Okay, so I might do something like this and then have it slide up. Dun, dun, dun. Keep it. So while I'm doing this, I'm also trying to see, you know, what chord progression can I work out of this? And because this is, you know, utilizing the 1 and the 3 of this scale, right? Because this is actually just the third note, you know. I don't exactly want to do that. So what I'm probably gonna do, I'm probably gonna change that to, let's see, we'll do a 1. 1, or maybe a 2, 1, 2, 5. We'll do a 1, 4, then 1. This might be a 5th. So I'm just basically trying to say, okay, what can I make? Like, how can I make this into a chord progression, right? So I kind of like that B, right? Falcon, what's good, bro? Let's see. Dun 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 dun. Flame, what's good, Brody? Let's see. I want to do. I like the B, so I like a 1-7. That's a 7. 1-7. Don't like that. See, and this is where it gets. This is where I get. This is where shit gets tricky for me, cause I gotta, you know. I like it to I like the chord progression to resolve, right? And I like to give myself an out, right? Like I don't ever want to be boxed into a chord progression. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes you can get away with, you know, something that doesn't resolve as naturally as you would think. But usually, it's better to just plan it out ahead of time. So we did da 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 da. So off of that motif, and this is the motif right here. Right here. Dun 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 dun. So really, that's the only part we have to keep the same. Now, first let's see how this sounds. Okay, so dun dun dun. I might actually change this because what we've done here is, we're not gonna explain it. Look, watch this. Alright, so we did, and then we gotta get rid of this. Unless we're gonna use a Phrygian scale, we gotta do something about this. We have to make this in key, because right now, we got, no. You know what I mean. And if not, just say that. But basically, if we were to put, because this is C sharp minor, if we were to put a D in there, then it makes it a Phrygian scale. Did you hear Late Night? Yeah, I'll listen to it. Give me just a second. But here, let me show you what I mean. So, look, I'm just gonna draw some extra notes over here. That's the scale, right? C sharp minor. If we were to move that note down there, it changes this to a Phrygian scale, right? Unless we're making something that's like tension, then we don't necessarily want to do that. But since this bass line is kind of tension, we can, right? Let me see. First and foremost, let's just watch this. See how quick that was just out of there? So that's tip number 2. Don't be afraid to like get rid of shit. All right. So we said C sharp minor. So bass line. Here's how you want to look at this. Actually, I want to do it like this so that we don't see those notes over the other notes. Okay, and then we'll change the color of these so that we can see what's going on. Okay, so this is, here, the way that I did this, you can see every potential note that we could use if we were to use a C sharp Phrygian, right? This is the C sharp Phrygian scale, so anything in here we can use for our bass line. Where the progression comes in is like, how do we map this bass line, right? So if we wanted to do a 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 1, it would look like that, right? Okay, so that's a 2, 5, 1, and then you just do another 1 back here. If you wanted to do a 1, 4, 5 in a Phrygian, let's see, 1. And you see how that Phrygian is dark, right? So if we were to move that up to just a C sharp minor, it's less dark when it's playing these chords in the background. Watch. And let me take out, I'm gonna mute this one, mute that one, mute that one, and mute that one. So now, you can hear this basic C sharp chord in the background, C sharp minor, and I'm just using these options to decide what's gonna happen. Now, I hardly ever use a 1-5-4. If I'm gonna use a 1-5-4, my 1-5-4 is gonna look like this. It's gonna be a 4-5-1. Just cause 1-5-4 is boring to me. And then the leading tone. Alright, and so now as long as I know that this is a 4, 5, 1, 6, right? I don't really need this note. That just repeats, right? That's just another C sharp. So now I've got a progression I can work with. I got a bass that I can work with. Now, if you wanted to, you could get silly and like, you can use any of these notes. Any of these notes will work. Once you have your progression, this is what matters. This is what's telling the listener where to go, right? Everything else is just used to help get to the next thing. And when you're doing bass lines, usually the smaller movements are better, right? So you would probably do this. So something like that, right? So and then you gotta get something leading up to this, because this thing comes in all crazy, right? With disrespect and all that. You gotta get up there somehow, because this fool is out here acting crazy. No, it's not lazy. It's being efficient. This is, you know what I mean? When you just copy and paste, come on, man. Come on, you gotta copy paste. Da-da-da-da. Alright, and I'm gonna make it more interesting and make a bigger step with the bass here than what would naturally happen. Keyboard, screen blocking. Oh, I got you. Hold up. Yep, right there. Alright, yeah. My bad, bro. So yeah, all I did was I copied this phrase and moved it over here, and then I added a note right here. And I did that because we're trying to create musical motifs wherever we can, right? And so, because these two things are the same, it's a motif. And now, because we're running this through the Moog, you know, we have the advantage of coming in here and bending some of these phrases where, you know, we might see fit. So here, I'm gonna try to bend this note and see what we get. Now the thing is, we gotta put another reference point back there. Now here's the thing: when you're bending notes with the pitch bend like this, you have to know what the range is already, right? And I believe the pitch bend range on the Moog is 2 octaves. 1 octave. Okay, so 1 octave is 12 notes. Logic can only see 64 dots, right? That's how it looks at this. Logic isn't looking at the semitones here. This is just a number to give you a reference, right? And I'm sure there's some weird algorithm that does it, but I've already done the math. It's not hard math. You take 64 divided by 12, 5.333333, right? So every 5.4, you would say, would be 1 semitone. And so if we're looking to bend this note from here, from this root note up, that's 1, 2, 3 semitones. So I'm gonna multiply that by 3, 16. And I'm gonna put this at 16. And then theoretically, this note should bend from here up to here before it hits this note. And it did it, but you know, because it's only coming from right here, it's not that big of a jump. So what I'm gonna do is where's my calculator? I'm gonna get my 5.3333 and times it by 5 so I can see where the fifth would be if I were to play this from a fifth down. And we'll call that 27. So, it's actually doing it on the wrong. So I don't know if you can tell, but like if I drag it way down here, you can definitely hear the difference there, right? It's a subtle difference, and the reason why it doesn't really sound like much is because they're perfect fifth apart, so they naturally sound good together anyway, right? But make it more interesting. Let's look at this interval where the note actually goes. It goes up to the fifth, right? Because this is a what do we say? A 4-5-1, right? So this is going from here up to this fifth. So how many notes would be in between here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, right? So if I was to just guess, I would put this like at somewhere right here. Just see. And so it bends up, right? And here's the thing. If you don't have a note behind here, and if this next thing doesn't have a point of reference, then it's just going to hold that pitch. So you got to bring it back to 0 at some point in time. And so that's the other benefit of doing it like with the synthesizer, is that you have more control over the in-between notes, right? The notes that, like the ghost notes, you can actually use those to your advantage. But for this, let's just keep it simple. Now, let's get this out of the way. And then whatever we make, I'm gonna send this to whoever wants it. All right, that's the deal. Let's see. Humanize. All right. So here's another pro tip. If whenever you got your progression down, open up your notes and map it out, right? So we got a 4-5-1. So and we'll just type it out easy first. 4-5-1, and then I think I did a 7. Yeah, all right. So that's your chord progression, right? 4-5-1. Let me make this bigger. This is gonna blow your mind. All right. So basically, this is the process of taking a regular chord progression and making it better. All right. You're gonna map this out, right? And so, like, if you don't know the Roman numerals for this stuff, then you would just say, all right, by looking at this, I know I'm in a minor scale, because that's what I determined, right? And so if we're in a minor scale, we know, or if we'll go look on Google to see that the 4 is minor, the 5 is minor, and the 1 is minor. The 7 is major, I believe, right? Yeah, 7 is major. So let me make this a little bit smaller now. Seven major. All right. So with that said, the way you would write this in Roman numerals would be like this. All right, so this is what the chord progression wants to be, right? Because in these lowercase means that it's minor. So naturally, this chord progression, because we're in the key of C sharp minor, some people would say D flat minor, but all right. So now that we got this information, we already know the easiest way to play this progression is just going to be just like this: a minor, 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 major. But we have some options that we can change one of these, like if we wanted to. Let's say we didn't want this to be, the way I would read this is sad, 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 optimistic, right? Like you're looking at a sad progression that has hope at the end. And what you could do is you could change one of these other minors to be a major so that you add more fluidity and life into it, right? So, for example, and you got to experiment with this to see what sounds best, but I'm going to try changing this 5 chord, this minor 5, to a 5 major, and I'm going to see what happens. So automatically you're getting, that's the major. It would normally be like this, right? So playing that as a major. So by changing this chord from a minor to a major, we've changed the whole feel of this progression, right? So instead of this, we're getting this. And that little bit of tension is what's gonna make this more interesting to listen to. So if I were to rewrite my progression, it would look like this. And that's all that changes. This little V becomes a big V, which means this minor became a major. Right? So that's the new progression. A 4 minor, 5 major, 1 minor, 7 major. So it's gonna sound sad, happy, sound happy. That is what I call optimistic. Right? There's hope in there. Right? So we're adding hope to this progression. All right, now we're just gonna record it. Okay, so I played the chord progression faster than the bass line, so I might, no, I'm not gonna double time. I'm just gonna play it slower. the best performance, but I'm not the best pianist, so we cheat. That's what modern medicine is for. And when I say medicine, I mean quantize. Quantize is like a drug, man. You gotta be careful with that shit. Now, these notes need to be right about there. You gotta just kind of listen to see which notes are not acting right. A lot of these notes, man, these notes, man, they don't have no respect. Like this one, no respect. You see how far it was? Look how far it was. Hold on, let me zoom in. I want to show you. Look, why are you way back there? Oh, disrespectful note. Get where you need to be. You just gotta listen for it. Go with what feels right. A lot of times, if everything is exactly on beat, it's not gonna sound good. You know what I mean? Alright, that sounds good to me. I might run that through a Neve. What? No, I know it's this one right here. All right. You know what? I just realized? I took the SSL off. Why'd you do that? That was already set and ready for the Neve. For the Moog. I guess I didn't realize I haven't recorded the Moog in yet. It's not a big deal. I know how to fix it. Nobody panic. Alright, that's good enough for government work. And I just did it again. I'm trying to, you know what it is? I'm trying to turn it off. And I'm deleting it. Don't worry, I can fix it. I know how to fix it, don't worry. Don't panic. Nobody move. That's all you gotta do, really. The SSL, just turn it up. Make sure the compression is 4:1. Yeah. We'll give it some 200. Why not? Okay. Let's actually record something in here before I forget. I feel like that is gonna work. We'll go ahead and move this Moog track out of the way. But then we'll focus on the Phantom. Like I said, whatever I make, whatever I have done in, like, let's say 30 minutes. Whatever I've done in 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes, I'm gonna send to whoever's following the channel and still in the room. That's gonna be the way this works. So if you're still here, and if you're following the channel in 30 minutes, I'm about to set a an alarm right now. If you're here, then I'm gonna send this to you, and I'm gonna try to make it dope. Like it's not like I'm just gonna sit here and bullshit you. I'm gonna try and make something dope that you can actually use. So stick around. All right, now that we've got that out, let's put this SSL over here. I'm gonna try and be quick. I'm gonna be try to be quick and focused. You gotta bear with me singing too. That's the other part of the rule. We're gonna go GP9 at 7.5, 30 IPS. So it can be crispy. This compressor is I think instead of using the compressor on the SSL, I'm going to use probably a Fairchild, if it'll let me. I'm gonna have to turn off some things over here to free up some DSP. See now, let me tell you what I don't like about UAD. This is my only complaint. If you're watching, how come the console can only use DSP from the console device and not from the satellite devices? Look at this. Tell me if you can see this. But the console is using 84% on one processor, 96.9% on another processor with just these plugins. But the satellite isn't using any it's not using any of the 8 processors here. But if I go to Logic, I can put SSL on every channel. I could go crazy because Logic is using the satellite. And so it uses the extra 8 processors. But wouldn't it make sense just to make the console be able to use? And I get it. They're trying to make everybody use Luna. They want everybody to use Luna. I haven't opened Luna. Bro, I can't tell. Man, I'm scared to open this. I don't even remember. I don't even remember the last time I opened this. But this is what they want. I know it. Universal Audio. I know that's what you're trying to get me to do. You want me to use Luna. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it right now. You got to make it better first. For producers, it's good for engineers, but for producers, man, they still got a long way to go with this. And I feel like they're doing that because they want you to use Luna, where everything can use the console. And see how when I open it, look at what happens to the console when I open Luna. Come on, like this is what I'm talking about. Look at how many more, like just by opening Luna, the console just changes and gives you all of the extra everything. And let's look at DSP now. Still only using the twin. I'm on a rant. I'm gonna stop. This isn't important. I'm wasting part of the loop making time. But I just wanted to point that out. Universal Audio, if you hear me, hear my cry, do something about that. All right. Let me get back to work here. We said we're gonna do a Fairchild on this thing. Alright, so now got that. Move this out the way. This can't stage this thing. This doesn't need to be here. This Moog is gonna need I might just compress it. Let's compress it with a LA2A. The dynamics out of it, but yeah, that'll work. Something that's gonna need to be click faded, but we'll do that in a minute. Do y'all want loops in it? I mean, do y'all want drums too in this, or you just want me to make the like an instrumental sample type loop deal? Let me know. We're gonna click fade this. That way it doesn't click. Oh, you use waves? Yeah, I used to use a lot more waves, but man, the way UAD is, once you start kind of using it, it's hard to stop. Some things in waves I still use though for certain things. See, these are the offenders right here. You can see them. They're just standing out, looking goofy. You know you're supposed to be over there. You gotta watch these notes, man. I think I like that down here. Let's see. This is a 4, 5, 1. So we're gonna keep that run consistent with the chord progression, even though that would work what we had, because let me show you why. this is a fifth of this C sharp, right? That's a fifth apart. So we could technically use that one, but because it's and this actually would normally be on a 4, but we're using the 2 here. We're doing something different. Either way, let me stop. But that naturally that would work, but I wanted to follow the like progression a little bit more, especially since we're not leading with the same chord. So we're gonna use both of them. Maybe we'll just leave it like that. It should be that note, but it sounds better following this motif. And because this is a fifth of the note that it would normally be in the progression, we can use it. We could also use the third. But yeah, there's little tricks like that that you can use to kind of like make things more interesting. Oh, you want me to zoom all the way in? You disrespect. See, some of these notes, man, just don't have no respect for the kid. It's all right, though. All right, let's see. Let's just make sure. Okay, we don't have that Fairchild on here anymore. Let's go ahead and get these right. Let's look at about 300. All right. We could come in here and do something like this. have to get rid of some of these notes, but that's not a fifth. Hold on. Yeah, it is. Wait. Oh, cause that's why. This is actually. Then we just get rid of these guys. And so this just this is the one. Okay. Randomize this a little bit, and we'll just use this as another phrase. So it'll look something like this. Actually, we need to cut the tail off this joker. Something like that. Something like that. Something like this. Let's see. These will need to be clip gain in for sure, at least 7 milliseconds. some chops.
Anywhere, only you. It's only you. It's only you. It's only you. It's only. It's only you. 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 It's only you, it's only you. It's only you, it's only you. It's only you, it's only you. It's only, it's only you, it's only you. It's
So I'm gonna copy this over to this one. How do I do it? I kind of like that one. Okay, I'm gonna copy this one over here. And then I'm gonna tell it to only play this part without looping it. Right there. Hey.
It's only you. It's only. 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 It's only you. It's only you. It's only. It's only you. It's only you. It's only. It's only. It's only. Tell me anyway. It's only you. It's only you. It's only. It's only. Oh, 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 oh. It's only. It's only,
Too soon.
it's only you, it's only you. It's only, it's only, if you want it, if you want it, just say it. If you want it, just say it. Help me find you.
So,
It's only you, it's only you. It's only, it's only,
is this one the same?
it's only
I probably should have moved that. I needed that the way it was. Where was that? That was right.
It's only you, it's only you.
Where were you? Okay, so these two look different. I'm gonna copy this right here. Put that one right there. And let me see what we got.
It's only you, it's only you. It's only, it's only,
Hmm.
it's only you, it's only you. It's only, it's only, it's only.
Kind of like that. This is gonna be in the background anyway, so no need to go super crazy. We only got like 6 minutes left before I gotta bounce this out and send it. So let me try and get this crazy. Let me get it, make something worth making, right? Let me see. All right, so vocal processing.
It's only you, it's only you. It's only, it's only,
Leave.
it's only you, it's only you. It's only, it's only, it's only you, it's only you. It's only, it's only, it's only you, it's only you.
It's only. I forgot these two don't like to play well together, but
It's only you. It's only you, it's only you. It's only, it's only, it's only you, it's only you. It's only, it's only, it's only you,
timer just went off, so let me just get this right. And I'm gonna send it out. And you see what tempo it is. It's 132. But you know what I'm saying? Feel free to do whatever. Alright, there it is. Cause I already got your email, I think, right? What's your send me a message on IG with your email. Whoever's watching. That way I can send this to at least somebody. I could have sworn we probably sent each other something before, but yeah, send me your email on IG real quick, bro. And let me send this out to you. You're the only one that made it, bro, to the end. Everybody else bounced. Let's see. Just to kind of get an idea what this would sound like. I'm not gonna send it with the drums, but I'm just messing around. as hell. Let me gain stage that a little bit for you. Alright, and then I'm gonna just put some basic glue on it for you. Let's see, let's use the knee. I'm gonna make the bass crazier too, bro. I'm gonna this right here. This will make it go insane. Yeah. Alright, now let me dial this back just a little bit. That adds a little too much in the subharmonics, so I'm gonna try doing it this way. See if we can clean it up a little bit. Look at this thing again. Just to see if I can get it a little bit cleaner for you. Wrong one. Wrong one. Leave. not gonna put a master on it because I want you to still be able to add stuff to it. I had to turn the monitors up a little bit so I could make sure that it was good to go. You know what I'm saying? Now this thing is ready. I'm gonna bounce it and I'm about to send it. We're gonna call this shit, I don't know. I'm gonna call it Free Twitch Loop. And now I'm probably let me see, I'm gonna send this to you. I'm gonna send this to you. Alright. So I'm sending that to everybody that whose email I either have or if you sent it to me. So let me just check Instagram one more time, make sure. Alright. So, Rel, you should have that loop now, bro. I want to hear what you do with it. Don't go make a banger and then don't share it. You know what I'm saying? Let me hear that joint. All right, this is the one. This is the Beast dude sent from Germany, but I don't think he's still in here. So I'll review his joints later. Right now, I'm just gonna set up this project, and then I'm gonna probably, after I get this project set up, I'll probably go take a quick break and go eat, and then I'm probably gonna jump back on here and actually do what I'm supposed to be doing today. Let me see what the sessions, because I gotta work on this joint. Let me just make sure everything bounced out right. See, that sounds almost too fast, doesn't it? See, is this, I'm trying, did this? Oh, I'm looking in the wrong folder. What I was about to say, I know I didn't. Alright, let me get rid of these right here so we don't get confused. Alright. Now I do need to get the acapella back in this folder. Alright. Man, I was about to say. Now the other thing is too, I gotta open up the other session and get the BPM again. Cause it was like I copied it to the clipboard. Man, this is what happens when you don't take a break every now and then. Everything starts to run together. All right, we're gonna do this. Get this right though.
Why you ain't bothered disturbing me? Teaching me, I guess y'all came to God, so yeah.
Yeah, they already started with the fireworks out here. Okay, so we got 99.213 is the BPMs on this. Okay, that's what's up, bro. Yeah, let me know how it goes. I was just winging it, but next time what I'll probably do is ask y'all what y'all want me to make, and make something, that you could. Or I might just have, bro, I might do like something on a Twitch where it's like where like you could send me something that you're working on and I'll work on it or some shit. I'm gonna figure it out. Okay, so now we get rid of everything here, man. We don't need it. And let's see, the BPM is that. Okay, now this is what I started 3 hours ago. And just now actually getting these files into a session. That's how distracted I get, bro. Alright, we're gonna gain stage everything here. So gain it down by, 7. Why not? Why not? Then I gotta go in and name everything. But we'll just get everything in here for now.
You had a stain on your heart and you put it on me. Now you looking in the mirror and what do you see? You wanted freedom and you wanted free from me. I can't even keep up with all that you need from me. I held it down and painted me still secretly. You want security, you dealing with insecurities. Eating me, I can't even deal with your frequency. Hurt me, why you ain't bothered disturbing me? Teaching me you on this side cause you need to be. You're my ladies, I can't. Champagne shower, show my decency. Your baby mama wanna be my recently. I'm everywhere, Nike, Airbnb. I'm that banana nigga, need 3 of these. Yeah, I just took 3 of these, I just hope it ease out. Where were you when I need you? I guess y'all came to God, so yeah. We all grown, don't be toxic. You had like I know, right? You had a stain on your heart and you put it on me. Now you looking in the mirror and what do you see? You're my ladies, I can't.
Alright, I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna listen to his reference one more time, and then I'm gonna go eat. Don't know why I had to think about that. All right, let me find his reference again. See how he wanted it to sound.
You wanted freedom and you wanted free from me. I can't even keep up with all that you need from me. I held it down, that pain in me still secretly. You want security, you dealing with insecurity. Eating me, I can't even deal with your frequency.
Is that who I think it is? What's good, brother?
Hurt me, why you ain't bothered disturbing me? Teaching me you on this side cause you need to be.
So he wants to drop
Frequency hurt me, why you ain't bothered disturbing me? Teaching me you on this side cause you need to be.
So it's a drop at 50 seconds. I'm actually gonna do this. Watch how I do this. I'm gonna drag his reference in here. Cause I'm lazy like that. That way I could just look at it and see. Let me see here. Alright, so yeah, it look like he got a drop right here. And this is probably right at 50 seconds. Yeah, 50 seconds. There's a drop right there. It looks like he did something right here. So basically, I sent him just an instrumental, and he kind of like chopped it where he wanted it. So now I'm gonna go back, add his vocals to the original composition, and make it better. Like make it sound more cohesive, like it was all one thing. But I'm not gonna do that right now. I gotta eat something, or else I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind. So, let me see. Let's just take a quick listen. I'm gonna have to gain stage everything down lower.
I guess y'all came to gossip. We are grown, don't be toxic. You had a stain on your heart and you put it on me. Now you looking in the mirror and what do you see? You wanted freedom and you wanted free from me. I can't even keep up with all that you need from me. I held it down, that pain in me still secretly. You want security, you dealing with insecurities. Eating me, I can't even deal with your frequency. Hurt me, why you ain't bothered disturbing me? Teaching me you on this side cause you need to be.
Let's see what it sounds like.
Show my decency. Your baby mama wanna be my recently. I'm everywhere, Nike, Airbnb. I'm that banana nigga, need 3 of these. Yeah, I just took 3 of these. I just hope it ease off. Where were you when I need you? I guess y'all came to gossip. Yeah. We are grown, don't be toxic. You had a you know like I know, right? You had a stain on your heart and you put it on me. Now you looking in the mirror and what do you see? You had a stain on your heart and you put it on me. Now you looking in the mirror and what do you see? You wanted freedom and you wanted free from me. I can't even keep up with all that you need from me. I held it down, that pain in me still secretly. You want security, you dealing with insecurities. Eating me, I can't even deal with your frequency. Hurt me, why you ain't bothered disturbing me? Teaching me you on this side cause you need to be.
mess with this. A little bit later.
I guess y'all came to gossip. We are grown, don't be toxic. You had a stain on your heart and you put it on me. Now you looking in the mirror and what do you see?
Yeah, so everything's definitely gotta be game stage.
Security, you dealing with insecurities. Eating me, I can't even deal with your frequency. Hurt me, why you ain't bothered disturbing me? Teaching me you on this side cause you need to be.
And I'm thinking probably needs to be game staged even more. Probably like around 9. But yeah, if I start working on it, I'm gonna stay working on it. So I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna save, and then I'm gonna go eat like I said I was. Yo, Bloody, you getting on the, you not getting on Call of Duty today or what, bro?
Freedom and you want it free from me. I can't even keep up with all that you need from me. I held it down, that pain in me still secretly. You want security, you dealing with insecurities. Eating me, I can't even deal with your frequency. Hurt me, why you ain't bothered disturbing me? Teaching me you on this side cause you need to be.
Yeah, so what I'm gonna do, I need to open up that other session. This is gonna take, it's gonna take some work because I gotta go back and forth between the 2 sessions and do it that way, but you know, that's the job. That's what you gotta do. So anyway, I'm gonna holler at y'all later, man. I appreciate everybody that tuned in and, you know what I'm saying, vibed out with me. Let me save that. And then think I'm out of here. We got that loop. I sent that loop. Alright, yeah, that's it. Alright, I'm gonna holler at y'all next time. Y'all be easy.